Hi, I'm Tess Marshall from The Bold Life. I want to talk about moving from our fears forward into our dreams. When I was 17 and pregnant, I married my boyfriend, and we were in love. And love was our only plan. And because of that, 2 years after my first daughter was born, my second daughter was born. We were still just madly in love and young and crazy. And 2 years later, I gave birth to twin girls. So here I am, 22 years old, 4 little girls with a lot of craziness. After about 6 years, I said to my husband, you know, we really need help. I need help. We need help. I decided that I want to go see somebody, a therapist. Are you in or are you out? And he said he was in. We went, and because we lived out in the country, we drove 45 minutes to the city. We paid $50 out of pocket, and we hired a babysitter. We went every week for 6 months. The therapist had 2 ideas for us. And what our main goal was to keep our family together. Our grandest vision, our biggest dream, our most magnificent obsession was to stay married, was to keep our family united, and we wanted to live together in semi-peace and have a lot of fun. The first plan was there was no more communicating at home unless we were standing in front of each other face to face. There was no calling to each other, there was no screaming, there was no yelling. When we wanted to have a conversation, we would move to where the other person was, look them in the eye, and talk, which we did. And with the girls, we wouldn't answer the girls unless they came to right in front of us face to face. And eventually they came face to face. What happens when parents calm down? Children calm down. The second thing that he had us do was slow down our speed. My husband had 2 to 3 jobs all the time to support us, and I had 2 acres of land. And on it we grew, the girls and I planted and grew flowers, and then we would sell them at the farmer's market. So we were a family on the go. But being on the go all the time meant getting crazy, getting into craziness. We listened, again, our grandest vision, keep that family together at whatever cost. So, what happens when parents slow down? Children slow down. And within 6 months, we changed the energy in our home. This coming January 14th, 2012, will be our 40th wedding anniversary. What is your big dream? What's your grandest vision? What's your most magnificent obsession? Keep your future and that vision in your mind at all times. I see greatness in me, and I see greatness in you. In my life, in your life, have infinite opportunities. The second story that comes to mind is a story about the Brooklyn Bridge. There was a man named John Roebling, and it was 1883, and he had this big idea to build a bridge that expanded from Manhattan to Brooklyn. And all the other engineers at the time thought he was crazy, that it couldn't be done. But he had a son, and his name was Washington, and he was an up-and-coming engineer. And he asked Washington to partner with him on the Brooklyn Bridge, and his son agreed. And together they went to the bank, and they got the money, and they hired the crew, and they began working on the bridge. And after just 3 short months, a terrible, tragic accident happened on site, and John Roebling was killed. And Washington Roebling was paralyzed. He had brain damage. His mind was clear, but his body didn't work, except for 1 finger. And Washington Roebling laid in that hospital bed and thought, I have to come up with a code. I have to figure out how we can finish the bridge. He would not give up on that magnificent obsession. He did. He came up with a code. And with that 1 finger, he tapped his wife's arm for 13 years, while his wife then communicated to the construction workers how to carry on and finish the bridge. What about you? What are you willing to do? It's easy to start our dream. It's easy to plan our dream. But things change. Things happen. We get stuck. Life takes a different turn. Then what? Then what happens? Are you willing to go forward? Baby steps is all that's needed. But one baby step at a time, over and over and over. Repeat another baby step, and eventually you'll be there. Again, I see greatness in me, and I see greatness in you. And my life and your life have infinite possibilities. And finally, another story that comes to mind is there's a story about a wise woman who was traveling in the mountains. And she came across a precious stone in a stream. And the next day she met a hungry traveler. And she went to share her food with the traveler, and she would take food out of her bag, and the hungry traveler saw that precious stone. And he asked her for it. And without hesitation, she handed him the stone. And he left delighted. He knew the value of the stone, and he figured that he had security for a lifetime. And after a few days, the traveler came back to find the wise woman. And he looked at her and he said, I came to return your stone and hope for something even more precious. I want you to tell me what it is that you have within you that allowed you to give me that stone. And isn't really that what our journey's about? Isn't that what life's about? When we can understand something that we always have understood in a different way. We suddenly see something that we haven't seen before. The path before us that's necessary becomes clear, and that clarity is a foundation for an honest life and honest work. So may we all continue to dream big, to do good work with a commitment to serve. And may we all know, really know, our precious stones. And may we be wise enough to pass them on along the way. I'm Tess Marshall from theboldlife.com. You can come on to my blog and be inspired anytime your fears seem insurmountable. Anytime your magnificent obsession begins to fade. And you will find inspiring stories. You will find methods to overcome your fears. You can download my free ebook. It's called Peace, Love, and Connection. And isn't that all something that we all want more of? Thank you.